Hi,
Okay.
everyone.
Yeah. Hello.
Welcome to Decoding Your Superpowers with Teresa Lisum, and
Linda Karchner.
we're so glad you're here. We've been doing this weekly for quite a while now, a couple of months,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. A couple months.
and we thoroughly enjoy it. And
Yes.
what we do is we take a look at a person's strengths report. We look at just one page, basically, and we just dig into it and we read the report,
Mm.
meaning we look at the different strengths and the domains and try to really get a good handle on how this person shows up in the world and what gifts they bring to the world. And I would say it's on point just about every time.
Right.
We don't have this particular person in front of us to give us real-time feedback, but um, we're going to give it a pretty good go
Yeah.
and show you how we do it so you can
hmm
understand the process and
hmm
see the power of understanding and knowing your strengths, your superpowers. So,
Absolutely.
Linda, I'm going to turn it over to you to give a quick overview of
Okay.
strengths concept, if you would,
Right.
please.
Yeah. So years ago, Don Clifton, that's where the Clifton comes from in Clifton Strengths. Um, he was a researcher and a psychologist, and he was sort of dubbed the father of positive psychology because what his research and his experience led him to was asking the question, what if we focused on what is right about people? Because we're all used to being told what we're doing wrong and being told that we have to improve in XYZ area. And his thesis was, what if we focused on what is right? So, through tons and tons and tons of research with millions of people, he and his team came up with 34 strengths that are universal, but that everybody has in their own infinitely unique order. So, with those 34 strengths, there are billions of ways that you can combine those. Um, and but yet we all have them to a degree. However, some give us super energy, like Teresa says, our zone of genius. They are our true superpowers, those in the top 10. And then as you get down further down to those last few in your 34, those are the ones that just suck the life out of you and make you weird when you're around other people. So the Clifton Strengths Assessment is an online assessment. You cannot take it on paper because for the computer to process all of this amazing amount of information, it has to be online. It has to be, part of a computer algorithm. So we're thankful for technology and how that it does that. But it will give you your results instantly, and what you're seeing here is the first page of an actual person's Clifton Strengths report results. And we're going to talk about this person and what makes them special.
And I want to mention, thank you, Linda. Always well done, well explained. Originally, it was the Strengths Finders Assessment,
Yes.
and now it's the Gallup's assessment. So it could be Gallup Strength Finder. So if you hear
Yeah.
Strength Finders or
Right.
Gallup, it's
For
basically the
Clifton Strengths.
same.
Yeah.
I tend to go back and forth between the two as myself. But when I first was introduced to this concept, it was the Strengths Finders
Right.
concept. So just so you know, it's also referred to as Clifton,
Uh-huh.
using Don Clifton's name. So just don't be confused. They're not
Yeah.
multiple assessments. They're
Right.
all the same.
Mhm.
And like Linda said, they use their vast amount of data and algorithms and whatever they do to pull it all together. And so there is an investment right up front to get the
Yeah,
assessment taken care of for you. And
but it's
that
a
goes,
worthwhile investment.
yes, it's a minimal investment for all of
Mm,
the information and the power you feel afterward and how good you feel about yourself. So that goes straight to Gallup. You do have to pay, you buy a code
hmm
and you input the code in a certain place, and
hmm
then you take the half hour assessment. So a half hour of your time gives
hmm
you so much information.
Right.
And Linda and I are both coaches. We've been trained to analyze and know about these strengths and how they all work together. So we love to help people, coach people
Absolutely.
to really understand themselves more so they feel really good about themselves, see their value, can believe in themselves more,
hmm
and just apply these strengths, their zone of genius, which is right here, the top 10, to
hmm
all areas of their lives.
And
So,
I think that coaching is also a very valuable investment.
yes,
I have invested in a lot of coaching myself for
yes,
various things.
yep,
Um, and I'm the kind of person who I have learner at number one, like this person does, and Teresa has learner high. So when I took the assessment initially, I just got the top five results, and I went and I read the book that had the little assessment code inside of it, and I underlined and I highlighted, and I didn't know how to apply.
exactly.
So I put the book back on the shelf and I'm like,
Yep,
oh, that's nice.
yep,
So, I'm like learner. Yeah, that's me. And I get that. But it was only through working with a coach and who's our mentor, Eddie Villa, that I really feel like I got to know what my
yeah,
assessment said. And once I knew the value of the top 10, I'm like, oh yeah, this is me. Like if I'd only had the top five, I wouldn't have known that my includer at number eight was so powerful. And it's like that's who I've always been from my
mhm,
childhood. I was always the person who made sure that no one felt left out. I didn't care if I was cool or not. Like it was more important to me to kind of just reach out to someone who looked like they were being ostracized or just left out.
mhm.
So, you know, coaching is crucial.
Yeah.
And we usually just say a little bit about this at the end, but we coach people, and there's a fee. We have packages and things like that, but we'll work with people and do the best that we can for you to fit your budget.
But if you get us your
Yeah.
results, this particular page, we would
Yeah.
be happy to do it here for you
Right.
together in this half hour.
Yeah, and get you
It's,
just a little taste of it.
yes, just this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's
Mhm.
lots of layers and nuances
Oh,
to all of
absolutely.
this. But I like what you said, Linda, because it kind of gave you ownership of something that came really easily to
hmm
you.
hmm
And it gave you a way to describe and understand with
Yeah,
clarity what you kind of knew about yourself, but maybe you
right.
couldn't put it into words.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was a strength.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was what I did. I didn't think
Right.
about it. Like,
And that
oh,
and
it's a
that
superpower.
is one of the powers. These things come so naturally,
Yeah.
so organically to us. We don't think anything of it. I mean, it's just like, how can this be a superpower or a strength? Because it's so easy, we just assume it comes easily to everybody. It
hmm
does not.
No.
So it's there again, just another one of the powers of understanding your strengths
hmm
and embracing them and loving them and being able to see them as they pop up in the course of your day. That's really
Right.
fun too. So thank you so much, Linda. You were so eloquent on that. Thank you for sharing. But let's take a look at this particular report. You see they're kind of color coded. We always like to leave this column up on the right So you can see the colors. So each color corresponds with a category. We refer to them as domains. Um, Clifton, Gallup referred to them as themes. They all mean the same thing. So all we do is count up whatever, however many blues you have, however many yellow, excuse me, oranges, how many greens, and we just plug them into which theme or which domain they belong in.
Right.
And if you have three of certain, three strengths in a certain domain, that domain is really important to you. If you
Mhm.
have four, it makes it even more important. If you got five, it's even more important. So you could see as the number of strengths add up in that category, that domain, that category is really, really very important to you. So
Mhm.
this particular person, again, check my numbers, Linda. I counted up four relationship building strengths
Right.
and three strategic thinking strengths.
Uh-huh.
So this person is a dominant relationship builder. So relationship is blue, so we just counted up the blue, and that's how we knew that there's four relationships building
Mhm.
strengths in the top 10. As Linda said, you can't quite get that pattern
Mhm.
when you're just looking at the five. So when you do go to the assessment, the Gallup website, you have the option of purchasing five or all 34.
Right.
Go for the 34
Right.
for
It's worth it.
sure.
And it's actually a little bit cheaper to get the full 34 right away than doing it the
Good
way
point.
I did it, which was doing the five first and then unlocking
Yes,
the
you're
rest.
you're
So
exactly
just
right.
do it right away.
Yeah,
Unlock the full, ask for it for a Christmas present.
yeah. Oh my God, this is a fabulous gift for you or for
Yeah,
anybody. The gift that can keep on giving.
absolutely.
The
Yes.
gift of empowerment and
Uh-huh.
self-awareness. Love that. So this particular person loves to connect with people. That energizes them.
Mm-hmm.
They love to connect with the right people. And I
Right.
always go like this because right depends on the person who owns these strengths, and they have to kind of think who are the right people that I like to connect with. I know who I like to connect with,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
certain people are just not it.
Right.
So a relationship builder, it's very important that they're with the right people for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that might mean once you have that awareness that other people you realize like, oh, that person's not right for me. You
Mm-hmm.
may have to go through a weeding out process,
Mm-hmm.
which could be, tricky, difficult. It
Yeah,
depends on
could be
the
challenging
situation.
sometimes.
Yeah. So this person again is energized by other people. They
Mm-hmm.
probably get more done with other people involved. This
Mm-hmm.
person needs to connect probably on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they probably feel their energy drain
Yeah.
and get to a low point. So that
Yeah.
means they need to go back out and connect with the right people. So that's their dominant domain.
So take a look though at strategic thinking and what her Clifton Strengths report says about strategic thinking.
So please
We
go ahead,
we
Linda.
don't see this too often, where she has the three strategic thinking strengths and the four relationship building. And I'm the same way. I have four relationship building, three strategic thinking. And Gallup says that I'm a relationship builder, like dominantly relationship builder, where Clifton Strength says that she is dominantly a strategic thinker.
Good
So
point.
usually, like the way that we do it with counting, it usually corresponds to what Clifton Strength says. But I think because her strategic thinking strengths, just where they're located, learner at number one, input at four, intellection at six, um, it just kind of gives it a little bit more of a boost in Clifton Strengths algorithm than that sort of dominant relationship building. So I asked this person, I explained what they each meant. A strategic thinker is someone who loves to think and create and learn, and a relationship builder just is energized by connecting with the right people, like Teresa said. And she said that she really resonates most with strategic thinking.
Mhm.
So for her, um, even though it's a three strategic thinking, four relationship building, she felt like the strategic thinking was just a hair more energetic for her than the relationship building.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out because, like you
Yeah,
said, learner is a strategic thinking strength, and it's sitting there
mhm,
right at number one. So, number
right.
one has the highest energy where a person feels most productive, the most creative, just their highest energy
Yeah.
strength, which is strategic. So, that could be why she's always in her head. She's always
Hmm.
learning, always thinking, always processing.
Hmm.
And then positivity is the relationship building strength,
Right.
which is just down just a little bit. So that
Hmm.
could be why that is. And input's right there at number four. So they're
Yep.
kind of up high, those strategic thinking
Yeah.
strengths. So they're gonna have more energy than, and maybe that's this awareness possibly of you sharing with her that she does have dominantly
Hmm.
relationship building strengths. Maybe that would get her to see things from a new point of view, a new
Right.
perspective, and just see how that plays out in her life. But I'm
Right.
guessing this person needs to balance that people time with that thinking time.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And she with input high, and you and I can relate to this. She has a need to share with
Mm.
her right people the things that she has researched and the information she has collected and the things that she's gone into a deep dive, which is intellection. So her big things are medical stuff, and so, we kind of tease her and call her doctor. Um, but she says, I'm not a doctor, but and then to study the Bible. So she goes into deep study about different things about the Bible and comes up with all of these facts that I never heard of. So she kind of has areas that are she's passionate about, and she just likes to share that with people.
And goes deep into
She
those
does. Yeah.
areas. Some
Yeah.
learners and input people love to basically learn about anything.
Yeah.
Anything and everything, whatever
Mhm.
strikes their fancy, their interest at that particular point in their life. But it sounds like she is very specific about what she wants to learn about and
Yeah.
dig deeply into, which is not
Mhm.
always the case. But again,
Right.
they show up differently for
Right.
each individual, even though they're the same strengths, they're still going to
Mhm.
show up uniquely to that particular person.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, well, go ahead. Let's talk about includer. You were just
Okay.
sharing how your includer
Yeah.
plays out, and she has includer right at number five there.
Right. That's how powerful is that? Like, this is the kind of person you want to be friends with, because she's friends with everybody. Like, she has so many people she's friends with, combined with Woo.
Yeah, yeah.
Like for me, Woo is kind of down in the middle meh section. So, there are no strangers. It's just friends
Mm,
she hasn't met yet, and she includes them all.
love that.
Everybody, like anyone on the street could be a friend or someone that she would reach out to because she would include them. And I'll just have to tell you about one thing that she does that just like crystallized includer for me in knowing her. She is the president of our local food pantry.
Mm,
And other people, other volunteers maybe don't have as much compassion as she does for these people and what they're going through.
Mm.
They wouldn't volunteer if they didn't care, but like just her compassion for people who are struggling with not having enough food is it's just stellar. Like
Mm.
she has no judgmentalness about her. She hugs everybody and wants to make sure that everybody is included in, the food pantry that needs it. So,
And I said that's her includer and that's her
yeah.
woo right there.
Yeah. Oh,
And her
absolutely.
communication. She's good
Yes.
communication right there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
all those three are working together.
Oh,
So
yeah.
even
You
though
can
we,
see how
right.
everything.
So even though we tease them apart and talk about them separately, they actually weave together into this beautiful tapestry.
Hmm.
And she has a ranger and adaptability right at 11 and
Yeah.
12,
Yes.
which probably flow into that top 10 as well.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. She's helping to organize our walk through Bethlehem. It's like a live nativity on steroids, like an outdoor huge production.
Mhm.
She's helping organize that. She's writing the scripts. And
Wow.
when our high executing leader of that committee is just at her wit's end, this person is like, it will all work out.
Wow.
So that adaptability is super strong.
And to piggyback on that, there's also some other concepts, and I just want to touch upon
Hmm.
her accepting
Hmm.
um, strengths. So that's just another thing that we count up and we
Yeah.
categorize. It's not showing here. It's just another level that we've learned about. And
Hmm.
this particular person has 7 accepting strengths in her
Hmm.
top 10.
Uh-huh.
And then with that adaptability right there too.
Yeah.
So this person is very flexible, very adaptable. I'm guessing she could pivot a very short amount of time,
Yes,
and she shows up curious and ready to discover what
definitely.
she needs to do in that moment or who needs to do what or so
Hmm.
she has the ability to adapt and to learn on the fly and just discover what needs to take place and very open-minded to new perspectives, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Again, just what I know about accepting. So this person comes into situations with this open-mindedness just to see what will play out. Whereas me, I'm a judgy person and there's no negative or positive context here
Right,
or
right.
connotations. But I come into situations with expectations and rules I expect to be
Yeah.
followed. I mean, once those are met, then I can be more adaptable and open-minded. But I
Hmm.
show up that way, whereas this person shows up right off the bat, open and ready, and let's just see what's happening here.
Right.
And be able to make those decisions very, very quickly.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And
Yep.
again, we're just basing this off what we see right here in front
Yeah.
of us and what we already know.
Right. And
Um,
individualization strength. I think that one is kind of an unsung hero.
mm,
Um, and that's sort of like includer, a little bit of a flavor of that, but it's like see, seeing how a certain person can fulfill a certain role
oh, yes.
and do it well. So it's like knowing that this person is a square peg and their passion
Mm,
is to be in the square hole and the round peg in the round hole and not like, um, oh, what's the word I want? Like not pigeonholing them, but just like
hmm
being able to see what someone's superpowers are and what their passions are and knowing, oh, they would do really well in this area or this area.
mm.
So, individualization I think is a wonderful strength to have.
No, for sure. And I can just see these all playing out in the role
Yeah,
that she's part of that you just
yeah,
explained to us.
yeah,
And she has belief sitting there at number 7,
definitely. And
powerful influencer
very,
on all the other strengths.
I was surprised that she didn't have more executing strengths
Hmm.
because she is a doer.
Hmm.
It must be, her belief is super strong, of course. Belief is powerful anywhere in the top 15, probably, but sitting right there at 7. And then her arranger helps her to execute as well.
Hmm.
Uh,
So,
yeah,
and thank you for that. So, an executor is a person who makes things happen, doer,
yeah,
doer, doer, productive.
productive.
Whereas you just said she doesn't have many executing
Mm-mm.
strengths, but yet she sounds like a doer, doer, get things done type of a
Absolutely.
person
Definitely.
within her strengths.
Yeah, she she can work circles around me.
Oh, that is so. I love hearing that. So you don't have to have executing to be able
Yeah,
to get things done. You don't
right.
have to have a lot of influencing strengths to influence other people. You don't have to, so sometimes the labels are not spot on to what we would normally think
Yeah.
that the word is defined as. So just be aware of that if you see, let's see what's in this. So belief could be a little bit, I don't want to say mislabeled, but
Yeah.
communication might be a label that is not 100% accurate. But
Mhm.
just know that just reading the strengths label does not always tell you about the strength and
And
all
that's
of
why
its
coaching is important.
right. That's where
Just to
coaching
put
is
that little
important.
plug in there.
Right. Thank you. And I do want to say that you talked about the middle strengths.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, strength. So these are just like from 13 down to about 29. We
Hmm.
don't really pay attention to those strengths. Those are
Right.
neutral and they hold no energy for us. We don't have to worry about what's there because we could do any of those strengths from our
Hmm.
top 10.
Exactly.
Okay. And then the bottom 5, I know we are out of time.
I know. We
We just
always
want to quickly mention
yes.
that those are not weaknesses. They are
Uh,
just very, very low energy for everybody. And we
mm,
just don't want to play with those strengths too frequently because they're not serving us in any way. They could
mm,
be de-energizing, in fact.
yeah.
So we do, like in a coaching sessions, I
Hmm.
just reference them a little bit just so people realize like, oh, good, I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so our focus is on what this particular person is really good at, where they shine, where
Mm-hmm.
their superpowers lie, and that is that top 10, 11, 12.
Hmm.
All right, I guess we have to wrap it up though.
I know.
Shoot, it
I
goes
love
way
talking
too
about this.
fast.
Yeah.
So if you have a strength report that you've taken in the past and you just don't know what to do with it, feel
Right.
free to send it over to me or to Linda, drop a screenshot in the comments. We would love to take it and
Yeah.
dig in deeper so
Yeah.
that you could
Absolutely.
get a better handle on how you show up in the world in the most beautiful way.
Yeah.
We are all
Absolutely.
unique individuals, and the world needs every single one of us as we are.
Yep.
Thank you so
Very
much,
good.
Linda.
Thank you,
Appreciate you and
Teresa.
your insights.
It's always fun.
Thank you so much, everybody listening in. We love helping you, so please reach
Yes.
out to us. We'd love to hear your comments as well. So drop them in the comments. Right, my friends.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Till
All
the
right.
next time.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.